How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Fourever Arsenal podcast. It's nice and late for me. It's not an early one, people. It's not an early one. It is the night of the result, the big result, 6-0 away to West Ham. Our biggest Premier League away win on record, 6-0 West Ham. We all predicted a win. None of us predicted an emphatic win like that. I think there was actually one lady out in Ghana that said 5-0. Jordan reminded me of that. So big up her. She was the closest that I know. But we're here. It's a full house. I know a few people last show said, this needed to be a full house after the Liverpool game. But Jordan is back just a couple hours before his flight. And we got it in. So big up Jordan. Jordan, let's go to you first. Let's go to you first. It's because it's not often that we got... James, you're muted.
I'm muted, idiot. I've got a bone to pick with Jordan. He replied to one of my tweets. I told him I missed him and he didn't reply.
Did you like it?
What did I actually say? What did I
want to lie, does he, James? You don't want to lie.
I said I miss you, Jordan. Nothing. Radio silence.
Oh, you know what? You know what? I've got no answer to that other than the fact of I missed you guys too.
Was that Frankie de Jong? We were tweeting about Frankie de Jong.
Yeah. We were.
Yeah, somewhere here. I'm going to find it. I said perfect for us. Jordan replied 100. I said miss you, Jordan. To which he didn't reply. But Lee Slims said, no, you don't. You just want Mans to come back to have his cold weather like you.
That's right.
And I just wrote,
you know what? I'm on holiday, so I'm trying to not be on Twitter or do podcasts as much as I can, but I'm obviously failing. But nothing personal. You know I miss you, James. You know I miss you.
Good luck for that.
Thank you very much, bro. Just a quick one, Turkish, before I get to the game, because I'm in a really good mood and I've got lots of good things to say, apart from one, but we'll get to that later on. I just wanted to say, obviously, I'm still out in Kenya, and we didn't get 9. I'm not happy. Didn't get 9. We should have got 9. No, just before we get to the football, I just want to mention, because our colleagues, Robbie and our colleagues, are out on the west of the continent, where I'm on the east side, and a lot of their content has been kind of talking about how popular Arsenal as a football club are out in Ghana. We all know Arsenal's got a massive global fan base. I think we're probably comfortably top 10 supported clubs on the planet. But don't forget about Kenya. I've been to Kenya now 4 times in the last 5 years. I watched both Arsenal games out here in their entirety. And the support of Arsenal fans out here in Kenya is absolutely insane. So I want to try and find the challenge for people watching this now. Let me know if there's a Kenyan Arsenal supporters group, club type thing. Hit me up and let me know, because I need to kind of really shout you guys out. On the plane out here, I met 2 fans of AFTV, both coming out to Kenya, both separate. I'm just making the point that if you didn't know already, in this continent in particular, Arsenal are massively followed. The 2 most popular shirts I see out here are Arsenal and Chelsea, followed by United and Liverpool. We're massive. We really are big. So I want to big up all the Kenyan Arsenal fans, all the Ghanaian Arsenal fans. I think it was 1,000. Robbie sent me video I saw earlier on. 1,000 people turned up for that watch along. It's just really happy to see our club.
1,000 people turned up for it.
And they had to turn people away. I think legally they can have 1,000 people there for the watch along. So just big up all the African Gunners all over the world, in particular on the continent. Now, to the game.
Why do you sound like you're about to rip into them?
Yeah, I don't get it.
You got a clean sheet. Kai Havertz was good. 6 goals.
Not at all. No, minimal negativity for me today. I'll try and keep it brief so you guys have your say. Obviously buzzing. I don't think we should ever underestimate. First of all, for full transparency, just be honest, before the game in the group, I put in, when I saw the lineup, I wasn't confident. So I can't always do the whole, I told you so. When I'm right, I'm happy to kind of hold my hands up and say I got it wrong. I wasn't confident in the lineup at all. And Lee, you mentioned the bench looked really poor and weak. So I wasn't confident. However, maximum respect to Arsenal, maximum respect to Mikel Arteta. Not seeing Jorginho in that 11. I know he's not trained all week, so he couldn't play. I was concerned. The injuries we've got, I don't like to bang about injuries too much. Everyone's got them. But to do what we did with the players that we've got out against the West Ham side, who West Ham are not rubbish, they're not crap. I think we need to give Arsenal Football Club and Mikel Arteta a massive, massive big up today, because it's also rare that you get an emphatic scoreline like that and the performance matches the result. Like you win 5-0, but the last 3 goals were in the last 5 minutes, for example. We had 90% possession for the first, I think, 15 minutes or 10 minutes of the game. And I think in that there were 2 good chances to score as well. From minute 1 to minute 90, we bossed it. And I was joking about not getting 9 slightly. We could have had a couple more. And again, you're never going to score all your chances. You're never going to score all your chances. Of course not. But there was a couple. I think Saka should have had one. Trossard had a couple of half chances. No dirty sheets. You know me. I'm about my dirty sheets. And we'll get to players, I'm sure, Turkish, throughout the pod here that we want to single out. But I just want to start off by... Go on.
Can you not hear that?
Is that my crickets in the background? Is that what you're referring to?
Am I the only one that hears that?
No, I can't hear nothing.
There is something like quite high pitched.
Yeah.
It's the crickets.
I don't like cricket.
So I just wanted to make sure that I'm not the only one hearing that. James, you've confirmed that. Lee, your ears.
I'm deaf.
Let me mute Jordan for a second just to see. Can you?
No.
Oh, now, isn't it?
Nah, it's the crickets. It's the crickets.
Well,
I just had to make sure because I was thinking.
I'm beard out, so I don't matter. Don't bother me.
Just give me 45 minutes, guys. Shh, keep it down. I'm just buzzing. I won't go to players just yet, but I just think overall to back up, this was a big game, guys. To back up the Liverpool win with the West Ham win, and let's not forget our season fell apart with these 2 fixtures last season, Liverpool and then West Ham. Oh wow, what is happening here? What was that? It does. I'm waffling now, but I just wanted to make sure, just really kind of just wallow in the joy of being a supporter that has watched their team today not only play really, really well, but get an emphatic scoreline. West Ham hold that because there's talk around them being like a new rival for Arsenal. Are you mad? Are you actually mad? You
What?
I'm hearing this. Oh, we've taken points off them. Like even boys in the interview this morning said it. We've put that to bed now,
and I think we had to win. Rivalry because of the Declan Rice.
It must be. It must be. But I just
want a rivalry. I was happy when they won the Conference League. Like
exactly.
I was just happy for them. I know a lot of West Ham fans. I like them all. They're all really sound people. I've got a lot of respect for the club. I like their team. I like their players. It's not a rivalry. Tottenham, even when they're doing good things, I respect. I hate them. So it's just social media blew that up. Like, yeah.
I think we've killed that anyway. So just to kind of conclude, I want to just be a fan for a minute and not kind of go too nerdy too soon. And just kind of, I really enjoyed that. Some good goals. We were shooting for once, clean sheet. I thought Raya was dominant in terms of anything he had to do. He did it. He didn't notice Raya, and that's how I like my keepers to be. But yeah, buzzing. And again, big ups to the Kenyan fans that I watched them with here. They were passionately enjoying that victory as well.
Do you know how dominant we were, right? When you're 5-6-0 up, sometimes it's like you want a 7th, but you also really want that clean sheet. You want it to be that perfect, like
100%.
Sure there's a 0. Make sure we had nothing. They kept showing a stat on Sky Sports. I mean, that's obviously the coverage we were watching it on, and they kept saying up until the 65th minute, touches in the box, West Ham 0. I got pissed off when they got a touch in the box. I was like, oh, that's gone. Like that is how dominant we were. Even then getting near our goal. And then they didn't have a shot on target till maybe again 65th, 70th. And when they did, I was like, oh, that's annoying. Wouldn't it have been great if they never had a shot on target? Like, these are the levels of control we had of this.
Standards.
Total and utter. The only part of the game I felt we almost settled as West Ham got on the ball was minute 10 to 20.
Yeah.
And then it was like, we started really well. They grew back into it. That was it. They didn't do anything. The closest they came was Emerson whipping the ball into the box. And then Kivior got in front. Yeah, along the ground. And then Kivior got in front of Kudus to deal with it. And I turned on the watch long term and went, I really like that moment because Kivior got done for the Fulham goal at the back post when Jimenez got in front of him. But we got done down that left-hand side, and Anthony Robinson whips it in. And this time it was Emerson, West Ham's best player this season, or one of them. And we dealt with it better. So there's a couple of early signs of, all right, looking focused, you've dealt with that. And then it just went from strength to strength to strength. And then that 15 minutes before half time.
Crazy.
Oh, cloud
Crazy.
nine. Honestly, the
Crazy.
Martinelli goal and the
Martinelli?
the Martinelli goal. Sorry, I didn't finish my sentence because I was taking too long. The Martinelli goal against City and the Trossard goal against Liverpool to make it 3. Those are the only times this season I felt as high as I did in that 15 minutes against West Ham.
Period. Yeah.
Utter dominance. Utter dominance.
Declan Rice, United home game. The Man
Yeah.
United game.
All right. Yeah. No, actually, the Jesus. Sorry, you're right.
That's
The Jesus goal. Actually, when I knew it was signed, sealed, delivered. Yeah. Okay. Those are my top 4 moments this season. I'm sure people in the comments will say more, but it was just brilliant. Utterly brilliant. You know what we were saying about? I think these might have been the words of Jordan. Tell me if I'm wrong, but the Liverpool win. It doesn't hold the weight if we don't do the business against West Ham. But let's flip it. How great does that win look now that we followed up with a 6-0? And now that win feels even better because it's like, it wasn't just, we turned up for 90, we did the job at home, we crashed the clock parade. No. We played in a title chasers, face off. And we followed up with the most resounding performance of the 3 top teams with the biggest win. It feels really good. We've really done the business since Dubai.
Yeah.
Good on it.
I said on my fan cam, we all knew the importance of that Liverpool game. The 3 points was vital, but as soon as we got that 3 points, the importance of this one was up there with the importance of that one. It's how you follow up. Not only last season, what Jordan mentioned, just this season. How did we follow up the point at Anfield? We lost to West Ham. We lost to Fulham. So this time it was essential, not only to keep us, on their tails, considering they both won yesterday, Liverpool and City, but to kind of get that off their shoulders in a sense that, now it's time to build. We've just smoked West Ham, but prior to smoking West Ham, we built a platform following Dubai, a platform that's got us essentially firmly back in the conversation, because there was a time we was teetering on the edge of the conversation. Yeah. And things can change. Before, people will say flip-flops. And when you're teetering on the edge, a couple losses or a couple wins can really sway where you are in the table and whatnot. So a couple wins later and a few goals later, considering the goal difference situation could come into play at the end of the season if we're there or thereabouts, we needed an emphatic victory. 4-0, half-time. Lee came up to me, I saw him, and he said, we need a couple more goals, 6, 7. And that's what we did. And that's something that earlier in the season, it felt like we were scoring goals, then going back into control mode. This time round, and not just this time round, but since we've come back from Dubai, it feels like we get a goal. That's the blood we smell, and we go for the kill. We get a little taste, we go for the kill. And it's a blessing to see, because no one's really talking about Jesus and Partey being out. Last season, Jesus and Partey being out was a killer of the season. If they're out, our chances against a lot of teams, not just Liverpool, City and whatnot, go down a hell of a lot. This season, I have to give credit to Arteta in that sense too, that sometimes I've questioned the depth he's left himself with, and I'll still have questions about that at times. But really, when I take a step back and I look at it, everyone's pulling their weight, everyone's playing their part. But I want to start with one man that we haven't spoken about in a while. The reason being because we spoke about him a hell of a lot earlier in the season, week in, week out. Declan Rice. I think it's time to speak about him again, because that was a 10 out of 10 performance. Defensively, offensively, 2 assists, a goal. And I think, again, I haven't even watched it since I got back. Did he play the ball over the top for Saka and the penalty?
That was Trossard.
Oh, that was Trossard. Okay. Well, he got 2 assists and a goal.
Yeah.
Immaculate performance. And the occasion must have been so mad for him to come back, Premier League game at that stadium, getting booed every time he touches the ball. He just came out with a masterclass performance. And I think Rodri,
25 yards.
bro. And I think Rodri's been clear in terms of midfielders in the Premier League, but Declan Rice is now not in the listen, Rodri's far more accomplished in terms of his career and whatnot, but behind him, Declan Rice is clear, in my opinion, in the Premier League. It's now Rodri firmly first, Declan Rice firmly second for me. Without a shadow of a doubt, he's put himself there. And it's not just him putting himself there this season with Arsenal. I've got the pleasure of seeing him week in, week out for us now. but he built his name prior to this. Solid years, solid numbers at West Ham, and now we're reaping the rewards. Lee, you was there. Usually we start with the people that was there. I was there as well, but we're coming to you last of the four. Well, James,
We're letting him sober up.
He's been enjoying.
Sober up, like, listen, I've had worse days, lads. I've had worse days than that. I tell you, like, it was unbelievable. Look, I actually, when getting there, and I see the bench, I actually said, like, you know, we've got to do this in the first half. Otherwise, I think it could have been a little bit of trouble. Like, I'm not having a go at the bench, but, like, you know, when you see certain players and then Smith Rowe not being there and Jorginho on the bench, I get why probably Jorginho was on the bench because it was a different sort of game. But then you're hearing that he hasn't trained all week, another one, and you're thinking, oh, this, you know, we have left ourselves short if things don't go well here today. And then they just put in a masterclass of that, like, you know. Listen, someone shouted out halfway through the second, "Come on, Arsenal, you just let them in our half." You know what I mean? It was unbelievable, like, you know. And that was it 5 minutes at the end of the half from the penalty onwards. That is unbelievable because you are actually saying there, like, you've got them by the throat. Can they kill them off? You know what I mean? My word, they did it in style. Like, the game was done from that with a mad 5 minutes. And it was great to see. But don't forget, there's a little bit of pressure on this game with all the teams getting results around us the day before. So it was important that we got the result. But listen, I'm going to be really honest. I've been nervous about this game all week because of what it was bringing or whatever. And I don't think I've had a more comfortable away game than that in my watch. I can't remember the last time Arsenal won 6-0 away from home in the league. Can't remember it. And it be so comfortable. So credit to everybody there. Just going on about Declan Rice, for me, went up in my estimations even more than what he can do. I don't, you know, I just can't say any more gracious things about this man now. Like, you know, not only his performance there, but on the back of what happened at the Emirates, you know, it probably is his worst game. He got pillared in it, all that. To come back and produce that performance and then score that goal that he got and to be as dignified as he was in scoring it, I've just got so, he's just so classy. It was the boy has got
What would you have done, Lee?
I would have given it large as well. Like, the shirt would have been off the lot, like, you know what I mean? Like, but to be fair, he didn't. He showed absolute class at that because it meant a lot to him. He knew, like, but he the respect that he has for that West Ham fan base, considering what they've given him and all that. Listen, I know it's all about talking to a few of the West Ham boys afterwards, you know, on West Ham TV, and they were saying, look, it's all banter, it's all like this and that, like, but that would have hurt him, like, you know, but for him to be like here, I just think he's just an absolute diamond of a person as a player. It's just, since he's come to this club, he's blown me away, not just with his play, just the all-round everything with him. I thought he was brilliant today, like, you know what I mean? I don't think people were saying he's man of the match today. I'm not going to argue that. But as good as he was today, I'm going to have to say it. Martin Odegaard, I just absolutely drooled over that performance today. I was what's the word? Mesmerised. Mesmerised. Not, I've had a beer as well, and I've said it like, yes, get in there. I was mesmerised by that performance of him today. His ball retention, the way he popped it off every now and then. I just thought he was superb in that midfield. He had four players chasing him one time. He was ducking and diving. I went out the turnstiles 3 times. You know what I mean? Like, it was incredible. And then what he done was he still kept possession and knocked it back. And I just thought, like, listen, you know, that was just a wonderful performance today. Like, and I agree with Jordan on this. West Ham 8th in the league at this moment in time. They're no mugs. They're no mugs whatsoever. Like, you know, to destroy them like that. And what was the greatest thing today for me is last year walking out of that ground, all their fans 2-0 when you fucked it up and all that, like giving it large. Every single fan that walks out of there from West Ham today, my God, we are lucky that it was only 6. you blew us away. You done this, like, you know. They were gracious in what we done to them today, like, you know. So they haven't been pumped like that by anybody for a very, very long while. We done it to them today under a lot of pressure and a lot of things going around that. Credit to the manager, credit to the players, and credit to Declan Rice.
Can I just come in there on the Declan Rice point, guys? Because I found that the kind of credit he got off the back of the game today really interesting, and the adulation that he got really interesting, because my takeaway from the game was I couldn't quite work out who was the man of the match. There wasn't, for me, a standout man of the match. I thought Declan Rice was absolutely insane. But I'm glad Lee's mentioned it. I thought Odegaard was... I thought he just... If we're being pernickety here, I thought he just pipped Declan Rice. I thought the back two, in particular Saliba, you guys let Saliba off the hook on the last pod massively because he's your favourite.
That's why though, Jordan. That's why.
But I was gonna say though, but when he puts a performance like today, you can kind of get away with a cock up against Liverpool the week before. So I'm not going to argue anybody on this, on Declan Rice. But if that's the man of the match we agree as a fan base, then cool. But everyone was, the kind of talk I'm hearing is that he was clearly the best player. And that's not, I thought there were 3 or 4 candidates for man of the match. I thought Declan Rice was brilliant. He didn't celebrate. I'm not really a fan of not celebrating, but cool, if that's what you want to do, whatever. But the goal was funny because it wasn't meant for him. I think it was Odegaard and Trossard. They messed it up. And then Russ was like, get out of the way, woof, back of the net, let's go. I just thought Declan Rice was amazing. I thought Odegaard was just pipped it in terms of who I thought, if we're giving the man of the match, I thought he just pipped it in that sense.
My top 2, or my top 3, should I say, because Rice is one of them. 2 names that haven't been mentioned, and they were Trossard and Saka. It's interesting.
James, so I'm going to cut you. Sorry, because there's 2 players I want to talk about. I want to talk about Saka, but I want you to chat about Trossard. Can you talk about Trossard today? Because everyone is saying that he was really good and he should be starting. I thought he played well, but I'm not seeing what other people are seeing. But I'm open to kind of being proven wrong. And I know you've been a really big advocate for him in his positional play. So just what have I missed today with Trossard?
I just felt like everything on the edge of the area stuck with him more than I've seen that much with Jesus this season. Jesus last season was a different beast, to be honest. But Trossard today, in and around the penalty area, just the positions he took up, the 1-2s, the little flicks, and then he would drop, the control, everything. And then he dropped deep into midfield. He sprayed one ball, like really kind of low and flat over Soufal into Martinelli. Martinelli kind of, couldn't really make much of that. Then he drops deep, and then he pings the ball over top to Saka. So he was sometimes dropping in as a quarterback. He was sometimes moving forward. He was just, I don't know, I just loved his performance. He was just taking up all the right areas, and he did miss a big chance. I will say he should do better with that header. That's probably I think that's at 0-0. But I love the way he played. I just felt he knitted everything together in the final third, to the point where when Jesus is fit, he doesn't get back in this team until he proves himself playing better than Trossard. And Trossard's been having an impact now on the left wing, coming off the bench. I've loved his cameos. This time from the off, he was absolutely sublime. But he's probably 3rd for me. I mean, you're right to mention Odegaard. You're definitely right to mention the centre-backs. I thought Kai Havertz had a really good game, guys. No, I did. For me, legitimately good game. None of this kind of like charity praise game. You're not seeing it, Turkish?
I haven't watched it on TV, but in person, I'm in. Firstly, I want to hear what you have to say because you watched it on TV, and then I want to hear what Lee has to say because he was there in person before I give my views. Because on player ratings, I wasn't too nice again.
Nowhere near man of the match, but I just thought he was great. And someone said something on Twitter the other day, and you might all think it's kind of like real kind of try hard tactico shit, but I was kind of looking out for him today. They're saying Havertz's ability to pick up second balls and always just kind of know where the ball's gone and then be there to sweep up. And I found that we saw that in the 4th goal where he chests it into Trossard, and then Trossard plays the ball and we nearly lose it, but then he wins it again, and then the move goes. And you might think, okay, was that all he did? I felt everything today. There were 2 moments in the second half we gave the ball away a bit cheaply. But other than that, I thought everything was really neat. I thought he worked hard. I thought he was he looked, do you know what it is? We've said in other games, he doesn't look like he's at the level of others. I thought today he looked like he was at the level of others. Just totally in keeping with the team. Everything. He was a part of all of it. He was getting forward when we had the ball. He was working really hard to get back when we didn't. In possession, really safe. Winning second balls, like I mentioned. Nothing spectacular. Like, if I had to rank all 11 players, yeah, he's probably in the bottom 3, but like they all were great. So I was really happy with Kai today. I genuinely thought he looked up to it. Genuinely. But Saka for me was man of the match. Just want to get that out there. I thought Saka was.
He got man of the match, didn't he, Saka?
Yeah, on Sky he did. Lee, what did you think of Kai Havertz? I really liked him today.
I thought he played well today. If I had a criticism of him, and then one criticism of him on the final third, his pass was just a little bit sloppy or a little bit lazy. Other than that, I thought he kept things neat and tidy, got back in there. It weren't like up there with the other guys, but I thought that he was a part of a very, very good team performance. And also, which I will give him credit for, last week he's playing up front, this time he's playing in midfield. He has got that versatility of just slotting in and doing a job. I think that Turkish will have to admit that he done the job, what he was asked to do today. He didn't do it like anything where he was man of the match and all that. And I get this thing where everybody's going to turn around for because of the money, you expect a little bit more of him. And I do get that. But I thought today he was very, very good. But I have to say a big shout out to our 2 fullbacks today as well. Kivior, I thought played the position really well. Ben White looks like he's getting back to the Ben White that I love. But I thought Kai Havertz probably out of everybody. I think everybody today was an 8 out of 10. And Kai Havertz was probably a 7 out of 10. But that doesn't mean to say that's a bad performance.
Martinelli wasn't an 8.
No, maybe Martinelli a 7 as well. Yeah.
Yeah. They were probably 2 of the quietest players.
Notice you to get on that one, Jordan. I'm just saying,
I think the line that sums up for me on Kai Havertz was, I watched games where I felt everyone was on a wavelength and he wasn't, or everything was right till it got to Kai Havertz. I felt that a lot this season. Today I didn't. Today I really felt he was a part of it.
I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't know if Turkish wants to kind of come in there, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because I just wonder if Declan Rice's 9, Odegaard's 9, masked Kai Havertz's 6 to 7. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, but let's not kind of go into that too much because I think it's a good day. I do want to just kind of give Saka a little bit of praise because I've been a little bit lukewarm on Saka this season, and his stats we kind of go to are very impressive. I thought, first of all, to come back to West Ham where he missed a penalty last season, which kind of killed our season, and put it away this season. All right, some may say it's a penalty, do your job, put the ball in the back of the net. But I was confident that he was going to score this time. I thought that's worth kind of a brief mention. Saka this season hasn't beaten a lot. I'd love to see Saka's kind of dribble past player stats this season because I think the control element of what Arteta wants means that it's less about beating players one-on-one and more about ball retention. So he's not beaten players a lot this season, yet he's still managing to make an impact on games. I mean, I like the Saka of last year. Get the ball at me, even with 2 players. He was doing 2 players last season. He's doing that a lot less this year, but yet he's still proven to be effective in a way that I don't think Martinelli, and it's not an agenda, but in a way that over the season, I don't think Martinelli has been as effective as Saka has been. He gets kicked a lot. You guys were at the Grain today, so you guys kind of probably see that firsthand. But I just wanted to kind of give Saka some love, and I'm glad that James mentioned it as well, because he wasn't my man of the match. But I just think he's doing his job. He's doing his job. And me and Cecil have been having an argument now for the past 6 weeks about Cecil's comments about him being world-class. I don't think he's world-class. I don't think he ever was world-class. I'm not ever sure if he will be world-class, but that's okay. That doesn't really matter. What matters to me is that you're impacting games. And I think what I think people forget about Saka is, I personally think, his first 2 years, he went so quick, so fast. He's kind of now reverted back to where he is, where he's meant to be in his development. Last year, he wasn't meant to score 15 goals. I think he jumped a year, and I think he's now slightly come back to where he's supposed to be. And this is the Saka because he's still young. I know he's been around for a while now, but he's still a young guy. So I just wanted to kind of give him a bit of a highlight. It wasn't my man of the match, but I just think that what he's doing is he's impacting games. The numbers suggest that, but when I watch him, I don't see the same Saka as last year. But yet the numbers, 10 goals in February, he's on track to get his 15 goals again.
Sorry, just quickly, that was his 51st goal for Arsenal.
That's impressive, man.
49 assists, so that's 100 goals and assists in 210 games for the club.
That's impressive.
Quality, and he's I think he's on a trajectory. I think he got 11 goals, 11 goals couple seasons ago, 14 goals last season. He's on 10 now. He's gonna at least match 14, if not better, it this season. On top of that, he'll get another season of double-digit assists. He had that last season. I forgot how many assists he had the season before, but he was close to 10 in that season as well. He's becoming a double-double player, and that's a basketball term, which means double digits in goals, double digits in assists. They use rebound and so on. But he's becoming a double-double player, and those players ain't easy to find. For what is he? 22? Three back-to-back seasons getting double digits in goals. Coming up to 2 back-to-back seasons getting a double digits in goals and assists. He is on the right path. He is on the right path. Like, if someone said man of the match for him, cool. Odegaard, cool. I think Gabriel as well. I know you mentioned centre backs, I think, but Gabriel for me, if it wasn't Rice, it'd probably be Gabriel. Every situation he had to deal with, he dealt with it. And there was moments even off the ball where Bowen, who likes a bit of the dark arts, Gabriel was having none of it. Gabriel would just move him off the ball, shoulder him if he doesn't even need to. Just make sure his presence was known. On top of that, a goal. I think he was slightly better than Saliba because he had slightly more to do. I think Bowen was trying to peel off him a lot more, and or it just felt like he was more in the action anytime West Ham did have any action, because it wasn't really many times from them. But Gabriel definitely deserves a mention. On Havertz, listen, I know he started in midfield, but he rotated with Trossard quite a bit, being the focal point, but he's part of the forward line, and I just still feel like we're clutching at straws sometimes, giving him credit, because I think I just look at it from a different perspective. I just look at it from the highest paid player perspective, and people account to call whatever you want to call me that. But if you're the highest paid player at the club and you're part of the attack, the forward line, and we're winning 6-0, or we're winning, we're scoring goals in abundance, and you're not even part of any of that. You're not even showing a little something. Like, everything he done was safe, which is okay. I mean, it's okay, but it's okay good enough for highest paid player. It's not good enough. So
sorry to cut you. I thought he impacted the final third more today. I need one of these comp makers on Twitter to make a Havertz comp, because I reckon there were three really good passes. There were 3 really good passes into the penalty area.
Man said no one's got no time for that.
Bro, someone's got time for that. Trust me.
Someone's got time for that, and send it over when you see it. Honestly, he's the one making. Odegaard slots it into the penalty area. He makes a run off the box. He touches it into Saka, gets the shot away. He was the one who threaded it in, I think, from Martin. He did some good stuff today, Havertz. He really did.
Yeah, I agree.
It's good enough when you're on 275k.
That's the problem. You're always going to get hit with, Turkish. You're going to get hit with that problem, and I can't defend that. But it's about contributing in the game, and I thought that he done okay today. Like, you know what I mean?
He done okay.
I thought he did good.
I was also very critical pre-Christmas of our set piece taking, right? And I know that we've been top of the league for goals from set pieces, or I think pretty much most of the season. But two things can be true, right? You can be top of the league for set piece goals, but also have plenty of games where I'm seeing 5, 6, 7 shocking corners at the same time. Since Dubai, I've not seen a poor corner.
Yeah, been brilliant.
I've not seen a poor corner since Dubai. So whatever they're working on in Dubai, whatever they've been doing in that sense. And goals today, we got, what was the game where we scored 2 set pieces? Who was it before Liverpool? What was the game?
Burnley.
Was it Burnley?
Palace as well.
Crystal Palace.
That's the one, the 5-0. We've had a few goals, so I just want to kind of credit the fact they've been clearly working on that. And my final point would just be in terms of the title race. Again, I said before Christmas, I don't think we win this league by firepower. I mean, today it makes me look a bit stupid, but I think we win this league by clean sheets. I think we win this league by being really stingy at the back. Go on, Lee.
Jordan, and you're dead right there, because I reckon Jared Bowen is going to go in on Monday morning, right, and say to David Moyes, I don't want to play centre forward no more. I think I prefer it out wide. He got bullied, pushed over, smashed all over the park. Hardly got a kick because of two physical, demanding central defenders. Like, you know, I haven't seen defenders like these two for a very, very long while. Physical, up for the fight, can play, can pacey wise and all that. I think that they're brilliant. And I think that if you have a look at us now, that back four is very, very physical and intimidating. And I love it. Turkish, what have you got to say, my son?
So just on that subject, it's off the match subject a bit, but on the subject of one of the centre backs you're talking about, recent quotes have kind of admitted that he was open to a move in the summer, and Arteta convinced him, and that's why the start of the season, you know, he wasn't in the starting lineup. Does that worry anyone, or is that something to? Because then we was linked to De Ligt a couple of times in December, I believe it was, where I was thinking why, but if you couple that up with that news, is it worrying considering how much? Because I love these two together. Like I'd like.
I think he's suited for the Premier League, Turkish. I think he's suited. I think maybe a little bit because you weren't getting the Brazilian side and things like that. Maybe like different things.
But wasn't it a bid from Saudi Arabia though?
Well,
there were Real Madrid links, but I don't.
He ain't gonna make Brazil. He ain't making Brazil squad playing.
I just think that he's his attributes are just suited to the Premier League more than any other league, and probably even Brazilian football. But if they've found a place for him in Brazil now, like the way he plays now, I think if there is a weakness in his game, it's probably his footballing side of his game, his passing or whatever. But you know what? If you're going to have a weakness, that's the one that you got to have the weakness.
I don't even think it's a weakness. I think
it's not a weakness, but it's probably the weakest part of his game. I'm not saying it's a weakness.
Yeah.
But if you're going to have the weakness as part of a game as defender, I think that's it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you get these players, oh yeah, he can pass the ball, but he can't defend. He can't head. He can head. He can defend. He's physical. He's pacey. You know what I mean? I think at this moment in time, if you're telling me who's the better centre half out of him and Saliba, I'm putting Gabriel there in all the attributes of what it is as centre half. You know, I'm not saying like, you know, Saliba's a Rolls Royce of a defender, but as a central defender, a Premier League centre forward, I think that he's got everything that you need, and that's my thing.
On current form, he's currently playing better than Saliba, and maybe we can have a debate about that. But they've both been outstanding.
Oh, both, you know.
I kind of wonder whether he's pound for pound Arteta's best ever signing.
He is
talking for what he's spent.
I agree.
He is
27 million.
Yeah,
27 million. And I love that we're doing a little segment on Gabriel in this, because I think a lot of people say, why does Gabriel not get the praise to leave? And people might think, oh yeah, you're late to the party. No, it's not that. It's not. We've actually all liked Gabriel a lot. It's just that Saliba's been out of this world as well, and he's come in and he's a bit
better on the eye, James. Better on the eye.
Yeah, a little bit. But Gabriel has. I remember the day against Man City, he got a yellow card, because they got a penalty or whatever, and then he goes running into the back of Gabriel Jesus, and he gets sent off in a game that we really should have won. And there was something about Gabriel that he kind of embodied a little bit of the. God, it's going to sound really harsh, but let me say it because I'm going to end on a real positive. Some of that immaturity I think we had in terms of like how rash we could be. It felt like at times, and there were lots of others as well. He had a little bit of that. By saying embodied, that's way too far. I don't mean that. But I do think now on the other end, he is like the leader. He is like total calm head. He is, when things were just teetering over the edge, he's the one who's kind of there in the thick of it as well. He gets big goals. He defends so maturely. He doesn't go to ground easily. He defends standing up. You know, when he is like dragged out to the touchline, he's got to defend against a winger. He's not going to ground just trying to, bring them down because he's kind of like, oh, I need to get back into position. He'll defend them admirably. I love him. I think he is. I think he's a real leader in that team now, Gabriel. Real leader.
Good shout though, the pound for pound signing shout. I've been thinking whilst you're talking, and it's this.
I think
an argument could be made for Declan Rice if we do get over the line in the league. I think. Even last season, people might have made arguments for Jesus and Zinni the way they came in and elevated us. But in terms of over the course and the trajectory and standing in the squad now and the availability, which is key, He is up there.
Turkish, I wouldn't even say Declan Rice. I think if you just look at this season alone, I think if everybody was to kind of say now who's leading the race for Player of the Year for Arsenal, I think 9 out of 10 people would say Declan Rice, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Gabriel's got a shout to be second. He's not. Do you know what? And when you think that Declan Rice costs 3 times what Gabriel cost, Gabriel's been a part of this team that's gone from 8th to 5th to a title challenge to where we are right now. I think it's definitely Gabriel in pound for pound his best signing. I've got a question though for the three of you. It's a slightly different topic. There's been a lot of talk I've been hearing about Arsenal being better positioned to win a title from coming from behind. So we're better chasers than we are leaders, right? I want it always 2-1. I'm sorry, I'm watching AFCON at the same time, and it's now 2-1 Ivory Coast.
2-1,
No way.
They've just scored, in the 78th minute. Do you guys care about how Arsenal stay in this title race, or are you slightly concerned that because at some point between a Premier League title, you've got to deal with the pressure of being the team that's being hunted? Is it a bit concerning, if you agree we are better chasers, is it a bit concerning that we haven't got the team that has the cojones to be in front, deal with the pressure and see it through? Or would you rather be part of the pack?
I think today was a big test for Arsenal. I've said it all before, because I think that how I see it, beat Liverpool like we did, but like, oh, that's Liverpool, are you up for it? Can you then go to a difficult place like West Ham on the back of everybody around us winning yesterday? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think today was a real test, and I think they passed it with flying colours.
Yeah, couldn't pass it any better.
No, they couldn't. I don't think you couldn't pass that test any better. Like, that's an A+. Is that what it is? An A+?
Yeah, A
I wouldn't know.
A+.
I wouldn't know. Like, I was planning the season B's. I've got to say, like, you know what I mean? So, just dreamed of an A.
Yeah, it's A star. I think it is, isn't it? A+.
Is it like
whatever it is?
Aye.
But
James, James again. I got bloody 10 of them.
No, I only ever got 3 of them. One of them was
3.
Italian.
Oh, cool. Well, that's a bit of a cheat, isn't it?
Well, the other 2 were in Spanish and French.
No,
you're lying.
Not being deadly serious. So
Your
basically,
3 A's were Italian, Spanish, and French.
by three
What
A
do you want to
stars.
be? I don't get it. What was you trying to be?
translator.
No.
How did you end up here?
Are we talking GCSEs?
How did we end up here?
I was good at languages. Obviously.
Well, obviously you was, yeah.
And I was pretty shit at everything else.
Yeah, would you get in maths?
B. I think.
He's all right.
You're all right, man.
Yeah, that's all right.
Good.
Well, I've said it. I might have got a C. I think it was a B.
Fucking A to C counts, mate. Trust me. anything less than it's in the mud. But on what Jordan was saying, I think number one, people can't say we're better chasers because where is the evidence in that? But a few weeks ago, I was saying chasing is probably the hardest thing chasing City and Liverpool, probably the hardest thing to do. But I do like how we've been going under the radar, and I do even think this 6-0, we're still going under the radar. I don't think Liverpool are what? What are they ahead of us? 2
points?
2 points.
City are
level
ahead of us.
Game in hand.
I think for what the team is, young, hungry, going under the radar probably would suit better than the lights and camera and action and every week the pressure on. And I think that showed last week.
But what does that say about you, Turkish? Because I disagree with you. I think actually it's harder to be the team that's being chased than the chasing team. I think it's harder being a team that's on the throne and has to defend it than the team that actually. Because if you're chasing and you lose, all right, cool. But if you're on top and you lose, there are serious consequences. So I guess that the number what I'm trying to ask is do we have the cojones to be a chaser and a chased, or are we just going to be forever, the bridesmaid and never the actual person that steps up and can actually dominate the league and see it through?
I think experience does matter as well. I think obviously our first title challenge in how many years came last season, and it came in the manner of going into game week 30, all pressure on us because we've been leading the way for 90% of the season and the expectation has risen. I think this title race, if we are to be in it in April, it will be one that, you know, we would have kept in it or you know, came back into it. Until I see how this season unfolds, it's hard to say what suits more. I'm just talking about from a young team perspective. I just think trying to chase something is something I put more towards a young team. I think if you've got an experienced team and you lead the way, that's where I think it works in your hands. Whereas if you've got a young team and you're leading the way, and then you had an experienced team on your heels, that young team looking too much over their shoulder. I think the young team looking forward and chomping at the heels of Liverpool and City might suit them better. But until this season unfolds, who knows? Because if we end up 10 points away from them come the end, then no, it didn't suit us better. But at this moment in time, I just like that in comparison to last season, the expectation is a bit more muted than it was at this time.
That's the way to put it, because obviously I'd rather be top than third.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, like if you're to look at the positives of that, you're in a title race. Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for being the chasers. Obviously, you know, when City were chasing us last season, it felt inevitable to a degree. Like everyone was saying, they're coming, and then City fans believed they were coming. We are hopeful. We hope we're coming. We think we are. I don't know if we really believe, like, you know, we've seen us do it before, so we'll do it again. We touched on us being a young team there. And I remember in the season that we nearly got top four but missed out, a lot of people said, wow, like, you know, disappointed we missed out. But what a job Arteta's doing with one of the youngest Premier League team. And then at the start of last season, again, one of the youngest Premier League teams, if not the youngest, we challenged for the title. And because we added Jorginho and Trossard and Declan Rice came for 105 million, it's kind of gone under the radar that, like, we are still a very young team. Now, that it shouldn't matter to a degree, because ultimately we spent a lot of money and we don't really care how old they are to a degree. We want them to be competitive and compete. And so you're going to hold Arteta to the club standards, to the money he spent standards, to the player he's got standards. But this isn't a team that people go, it's what annoys me. People are going to think, oh, you've got no standards. Oh, you're fine not winning trophies. No, this team, this isn't the year they have to win it. They don't have to be successful this season. Like they will get better. They can get better. They can get better. They've got many years to compete. I'm not looking at Arsenal to do it this 1 year and then that's it. I'm done. I want them, whether we win it or not, I want us to go again next year. I want us to go again in 3-4 years' time, because they're an age to grow and do it for a long time. So I do think that goes under the radar a little bit, that we are, you know, Bukayo Saka is 22. In 4 years, he's 26. And then he's still arguably 4 years off his prime from that. Like, there's a long time for a lot of these players. Weren't the Arsenal fans chanting 10 more years Declan Rice or something, playing football the Arsenal way, something like that? Like, that's how long we potentially have a player of Declan Rice's quality. And so, being the chasers, while we're still a very inexperienced side when it comes to this position, it's okay. But at some point, we need City to drop those points. And I don't know if they're going to. You're muted.
Bearing in mind the time and the fact that Jordan has to catch a flight real soon, we're going to keep it moving, even though we could talk, to be honest, for another hour about the 6-0 and all the players involved and the meaning of the result and so on. But we've got another fixture coming up, end of the week. Burnley away, another away game. Usually we go into lineup here, maybe thoughts on the lineup, but I don't really think there is too much to say now, considering it's still straight after the West Ham game, and we don't know how the situation would look with Jorginho come the end of the week, and maybe even Thomas Partey. And
he said Arteta yesterday, and I'm not listening to his press conferences no more. He said, "Oh, I've got a few players might coming back. Like, not one of them come back. Actually, more out than you know what I mean? Unbelievable. I'm just not listening to the man no more. Like, you know what I mean?
He lies all the time. He lies all the time, and also
he's a liar.
Yeah,
but
I'm
not taking anything he says, like, you know, face value no more. Like, I mean, he said, yeah, we've got a few players coming back for. Yeah, who are they, Miguel? Can you please let me know?
Yeah, I was going to say I'm going to politely shut the F up when it comes to 11, because I saw the 11 today. I went, oh no, is he moved Havertz back into midfield after that Jorginho performance?
Yeah.
You know, Kivior, okay, the decision was made because of the injuries, but God, it just feels awkward. and he flipped it. He said, Kivior, you can't invert. Ben White, you do it. And he looked very good doing it.
Yeah.
And he said to Kai Havertz, yeah, you're not the ball progressor in midfield. So when we have it, charge right up the pitch, please. Odegaard, you come deep. Ben White, you invert. Trossard, you come deep to get the ball. Havertz, you get on the end of things. And we went into that Fulham game with Kivior left back, Havertz in midfield, but Nketiah up front. So Nketiah was the only difference really in terms of the dynamics on that left-hand side. And my word, we didn't know we could do anything on the ball. And this week, okay, Trossard in for Eddie, but he just tweaked things around in terms of everyone's role, and suddenly we just played through them. Every time we had the ball, playing through them. And Arteta just made me feel a bit silly, but I loved it. I'm delighted.
I don't have any massive thoughts on the lineups because, as you say, it's we'll get there. But what I'm just liking is the fact that game by game, it sounds really boring and cliche, but all this, I made my points clear in the last couple of pods about looking at blocks. I don't think we were in that position to look at blocks of fixtures. And I know the broadcaster where I'm here in Kenya looked at Arsenal's next 6 fixtures. And I looked at them and I thought, I think they can win all 6 of those games. But I don't really care. I think the focus just needs to be just beat Burnley. Because we're in that position now where City and Liverpool are just making you win every game. So there's no point looking at that game in 3 weeks' time. Just beat Burnley. Just go to, I think it's away, isn't it? Just go to Burnley and just win that game. Tick it off. Now, City, what are you saying? Because we've put ourselves back in the mix. Let's just focus on the Burnley game, win that game, and then go on to the next one.
I do think there's a balance to that, though, because I do think setting a target also helps motivate. And I think if you tell this team, listen, end of March, Etihad, be in it come that game. That is
this team can't handle targets. I think this team, it goes back to your point about it being a relatively young team.
Again, though, it goes back to the Chasers thing. If they're the young bulls, the hungry, chomping at the heels, and they've got a target there, 4 very winnable games. I'm not saying completely overlook game by game, 100, but I think there's a bit of a balance to it where that Etihad trip should be massive. Make sure it is massive come the time.
I thought that last year, Turkish, but I personally disagree. I think if I'm Arteta, the target is Burnley. Because you saying we can get X amount of points, be in the race by the Etihad game, we did that last year, but it didn't really work out. I just think Burnley, the next game is the focus, especially for a young team.
I agree with what you're saying there, Jordan, but also you have to take into consideration in those 4 games swing of games, Manchester City got Liverpool, and Liverpool have got a cup final, so they miss out a week there,
But so we can't affect any of that, Lee.
No, well, what we can
do any of that.
We can't affect that, but what we can do is get points on the board. And I think that you're right what you're saying, take 1 game at a time. But I am looking at these next 4 games before we go to Etihad, we go there with maximum points and then see what happens from there. It could be that we could go to the Etihad with a 2-point cushion, a 3-point cushion, or whatever. What we've got to do going into the Etihad is make sure, game by game, 1 game, and you're dead right, Burnley, beat Burnley, then we chalk off Newcastle after that.
Brentford, I think.
Sheffield United, and then Brentford, isn't it? Bang, bang, bang.
I just think this kind of get to this Etihad within 3 points talk. I just think it's dangerous.
I agree, and also we've got another break there, so hopefully they get off to Dubai again, have another little week there, So,
can I also just say that Nigeria look like they're going to be the England of the African continent because they're into injury time, they're losing. It's another, they've blown it again.
Keep away from Ty.
Yeah. He's doing the watch along as well.
He's doing the watch along. Someone ring him, check he's all right.
Yeah. So someone needs to ring Tobes as well because I know he's probably.
Oh, they're all there. They're all like, yeah.
It's all mad. Prediction time before we get the predictions in. There's no change in the table.
Yeah, Ivy close to win 2-1. Oh, sorry.
This guy. I forgot you was drunk.
And also I did predict a clean sheet. Did anybody else go for a clean sheet at West Ham?
I think I went 2-1.
I went 1-0.
Oh, you did go 1-0. Well done, James.
Thank you.
That's okay. My pleasure.
34 games played, 34 predictions made. James top 29 points. I'm in second on 24. Lee's in third on 22. Jordan's in fourth on 20. Back to James for his prediction. Burnley away.
Look at that Kai Havertz points I've got. Fantastic.
It goes downhill, mate.
Burnley, like, you know,
no shame, you two. No shame whatsoever, you two. I'll tell you that. Eh?
Do you know it's hard not to get carried away after that and go, oh, you scored 6 and we're playing Burnley and we're going to do this.
7-0.
I feel like it's going to be 2-1 Arsenal, but one of those, like, we're 2-0 up, we're comfortable, but actually they get a goal back. And I think they've actually played some good attacking football recently, Burnley. It's quite early. I don't know. I'm still basking in this one.
2-1, 3-1. So I'll take my score back. I'm going 3-1 Arsenal.
I knew you went with that.
Yeah, I thought you was. I was going to go 3-0, but I thought, all right, let me just say 3-0. Go on, Lee.
3-0. I'm going to go with it.
3-0. Jordan, 2-1, 3-1, 3-0.
I'm going 1-0 Arsenal. I want a clean sheet. I think there will be a come down. But I'm liking the groove this defense seems to be in.
I hear that. I hear that.
Cool.
May I just say to round off? Sorry, just wanted to add something that we didn't mention about the game very quickly.
Yeah.
Ethan Nwaneri getting on was great to see.
Yes, done well as well.
He looks totally comfortable at 16 years old. His Instagram comments, he posted a picture of him on the pitch with the team, whatever. The comments, William Saliba with fire emojis, Bukayo Saka calling him a booler, bloody hell, baller. Declan Rice calling him a special talent, and Ben White in there as well. And you heard what Arteta said, that the bench were whispering to him to get Ethan Nwaneri on the pitch.
Where do you find out how many touches each player has had and all of that?
Don't reveal your sources, James.
Oh yeah.
I'm just interested to see, because it felt like he always wanted the ball. It felt like when he man said he counts them. When he came on, it felt like he wanted the ball every single time.
Yeah, he was on the ball loads. I might be able to dig up some stats really quickly on that.
Yeah, don't bother.
Cool. Predictions made, people. Hit the like button. Let's get to 1,000 likes. 57.5 minutes on the clock, and we're gonna move over to comments of the day.
Guys, I'm going to be really honest. I bloody forgot.
It's a point deduction. There's a point deduction. It's an even better day, Turkish. It's an even better day.
So James on 28 points.
At least I'm honest about it. Bloody Lee read out. Always enjoy the podcast. Thanks.
John, 1, 2, 4, 5.
Don't start going down and start attacking me. It's a point deducted, and that's fantastico.
There's no VAR there, mate. Sorry, mate.
No, it's all right. I'm just. Oh, they're asking.
Can I go while he's trying to look for one then?
No, he doesn't need to look for one. He's lost the point. Fuck it. That's it. You're good. Don't worry.
No, if there's a good one, I'll read it anyway.
Yeah.
Look, I'm 6 points clear of Lee. I told you I'm not here to win.
Yeah, but you're 5 points now. The judges have you.
No, it was 7 and it went down to 6. So,
the Kai Havertz number that lasted about 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been a good day, Turkish. It's been a good day.
Go on then, judges.
Yours?
Right. I've got for this one. James Justice 7084. Lee's mum's hex is doing wonders. Remember this, like, the 1 week Turkish doesn't do 3-1, it ends up 3-1.
Oh yeah,
correct score days are over. So my mum put the curse. Remember, because when I was in silence, she put the curse on you, Turkish, and look at that, you ain't gone the 3-1, and it's happened. You know what I mean?
She bought a little doll with a beard, and she just sticks pins into it every fucking night.
Keep it going, mum. Keep it going, like you know what I mean. So. I shall be telling her to get the old dough out again. Lovely.
I've got a couple here.
Perhaps you could give one to James.
I'm not gonna lie. Some of these are funny.
The first one I got from Ashley Lewis. And this one says, this podcast just isn't the same without Jordan and the energy he brings. Good podcast, but Jordan makes it a great one. Jessica is a good addition to the show with her points, views, and opinions.
This was great.
Substitute. There's levels to this. Great show, guys.
Love,
great work keeping us all entertained. You all done? okay.
No,
you,
I
Ashley.
enjoyed the last pod, so well done. Just was great as per usual. I've got two quick ones. I've got here. I put it in the group from Matthew. Someone. Jordan's got a worse appearance record than Thomas Partey. Must sell the summer. That made me absolutely just wet myself with laughter. And another one here from Deadly Palms. As J Unit would say, Jorginho can be a bit of a C unit and a player many have loved to hate. He is a winner, arguably elite level. If you consider what he has won, Champions League, Europa League, blah, blah, blah. He was made a knight of the realm in Italy. I think his bastardos mentality rubbed off on Havertz there too. What a handful. And I agree. Havertz, I thought, was definitely roughing man up. And arguably he got that from our Italian friend in the middle of the park.
I found a comment. It's fucking disgraceful.
God. But you like
this
it?
This
Did you still lose his point, Turkish?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so that's it. Like, man, far away then, James. I'm really looking forward to hearing it.
This loving was a lot. No balance, no criticism of the performance. This was pure emotion, guys. Order will be restored next week. From Blackademic.
Who the hell was
my
that?
second one. I'm glad you got that in. That was my second one. Go subscribe to Blackademic, people.
What can I say? I'm a fan of the show. I like to contribute to the comments. You know what I mean? I like to just get involved.
Jordan, let me tell people. Imagine we've beaten Liverpool 3-1. We've done a podcast. We're all happy. We're back in it. And Jordan says, "What the hell's going on? No one wanted to talk about Saliba's mistake." I'm thinking,
unbelievable, isn't it? Like that.
No, but just because you have a big win, that doesn't mean you can just like airbrush over errors. You got, it was a significant error. Could have cost us. Because he's lost favourites, you don't want to give him no heat. But it's fine. I'll be the bad guy. You
love it. Big up Jordan. Big up James. Big up Lee. Just over the hour, so hopefully we're just over 1,000 likes as well. Come on, my bro. Jordan, safe flight. James, Lee, we'll definitely see each other this week. People, make sure you subscribe, put a notification bell on. Tactical Insight out tomorrow. I think there's a fan zone. Multiple pieces of content coming out throughout the week, headed into the Burnley game. So make sure you're here, people. Love for the love as always, and hit the like button. Peace. We're out.